Sentence Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Breout, and I have Adam Nilsson and Dalton Klein. And we missed last week, and I think it's my fault because the week before I got cocky and I said that we were ahead of schedule for the first time ever.
Jesus.
And that's what we get for saying that we're ahead of schedule. And now,
I wish that's what it was.
Yep.
I truly, really wish that that's what it was.
No.
And not the fact that
Hurricane Iowa came through and destroyed everything.
And I have spent countless hours trying to restore internet to schools that they just canceled anyway.
Yeah. Well, we went 4 days without electricity that week.
Almost 6.
Yeah. Yeah, you were gone for 2 days and you still had no electricity.
Yeah.
I miss no electricity.
Yeah, fuck off.
I'll take it.
I couldn't believe it. Like every day it kept going. I was like, surely it's got to come on any day now, right? Because like we didn't get hit that bad here south of Des Moines. It's like really wasn't any trees down. But yeah, we had no electricity for 4 days, and then the further north and the further east you went, it was way worse. So that's why I was surprised that we had it so bad. But all things considered, I can't complain that 4 days without electricity, but no actual damage.
There's people up by the Cedar Rapids area that there's little towns out there that I don't think there's a single building in that town that isn't damaged in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
In a lot of those little towns, it's just crazy. The scale of it's insane because it's such a huge area. It would have been better to have a tornado because at least they're relatively confined.
Yeah. They're
not 100 miles wide and 600 miles long. So.
What did we record? Like 140 mile an hour winds?
Yeah, I've seen reports of 140.
That's crazy. Like legitimate hurricane speed stuff in the middle of Iowa that we're not set up for. Yeah,
and we had a 10-minute, 15-minute warning of it.
Yeah, what was
by
weird?
The time it hit us,
it was super weird because like a bunch of us we take a break and then go we have like a walking path around the building. So we walk around the building. It's sunny and nice out, and then we come inside. Maybe 10 minutes later, there's a tornado emergency warning. This is everyone needs to go to the tornado shelter right now. That's funny. We were just outside. It's really nice. No, then we got pounded for like an hour. Like we sat there for an hour, and then it was over, and the damage was everywhere.
Yeah, I drove through it with my giant, essentially U-Haul truck, and I thought I was gonna tip. It was pretty wild.
I think a lot of trucks get tipped over on the interstate?
Oh, tons. There were 6 of them between Ames and Des Moines in just the northbound lane, and I'm pretty sure there were a bunch in the southbound lane. But when those fell over, they fell into the road, and the ones on the northbound lane fell into the ditch. So those didn't get cleared right away, and so I only saw those.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know the interstate was closed on my way home that Monday afternoon. The interstate was closed, and I assume that's why.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
So, yeah, I've never seen anything like it. The amount of damage and the distance that it covers, it's just
kind of staggering. Yeah.
I've been working on a run, a 15-mile long run, that every single power line snapped off at the ground.
Holy shit.
For 15 miles. So, and there's lots of sections where 3-4 miles where the poles got snapped out in a run or even just a handful of them, but buildings blown down and I've seen lots of if your garage was facing west, the garage door was probably blown in. I've seen lots of garage doors that were molded around the vehicle that was behind them because the wind blew so hard that it blew the door in, and then when it hit the car, it just folded it around.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
I've never seen anything like it. So it's scary. It was a legit hurricane without the flooding, Yeah,
and we're in the middle of a drought.
Yeah.
Even with that, we still are in the worst drought I can remember in quite some time.
Entire mile square sections of corn that is just flat.
Yep.
It's completely wiped out. It looks like
there's a satellite image that there's
you can see the path in the cornfields on that satellite image. It's wild. So not something we need to do again. I'll tell you that.
No, once was enough. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe you didn't get any damages to your house, all your trees, Robbie.
This is the first year I've lived here that I didn't have a tree go down.
Yeah, I just had
and you were set up for it so bad.
I thought
I lost a couple branches. We picked them up and laid them on the front curb, and the city came through and picked everything up. Which was super awesome. I didn't have to deal with any of it. I don't know how I got out of. I have a dead tree hanging over my garage that, for all intents and purposes, should have fallen down and didn't. So,
yes, and you were right.
I got off.
Yes, you were right in the middle of the path, whereas I was right below it. Like Des Moines kind of got hit, and then all the way up to like Mason City, and then all the way straight across, all the way to Adam Gervais' house.
Yeah, Adam Gervais lost. He lives 500, 600 miles away from us, and he lost what he told me was a civic-sized patch of his roof from the same storm that knocked trees down in my front yard.
Literally 5 hours.
That's crazy.
Like 5 hours apart too. Like it just straight lined across the state and took everything with it, and then it was gone.
As fast as you can drive, that storm moved.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But yeah, like I've spent literally weeks worth of time cutting down trees the last few years. So maybe I just cut down everything that was dead and everything's healthy. But yeah, I was expecting to come home to like trees everywhere, and no effing way was I leaving that weekend. But
you have a lot of evergreens, don't you?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
That's mostly what you have left.
A good
It seems
chunk of
like
them.
they fared better than normal deciduous trees, is what I've noticed driving around working.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Those usually don't fall down. I had a few branches, but
It's wild. You see like 100-year-old oaks that are like the root ball is ripped up out of the ground.
Yep. Yeah, there's one right by work that fell.
You don't see
fell
that.
out. Absolutely insane.
So, and then the worst part about it is we've had a lot of damages that have been caused by the cleanup too. Like,
what do you mean?
People are like chainsawing trees down, and those trees are laying on our fiber optic lines that were hung on the power poles originally, and they cut through them by accident, or even, I'm not convinced always that it's on accident, but it's like, God damn it.
Well, yeah,
why?
You were mentioning that you were going to end up you didn't know the extent of your work because you couldn't tell if it was power that was limiting the fiber, or if it was damage, or if the power linemen were going to cause damage as they were fixing things. So yeah, you're gonna be,
and
working
we're
on
still
this all year.
we're still getting new outages almost every day. There's still people that we just finally got to the point where we realized that it's not anything in our building that's causing this outage, so it must be you guys, and then we got to go figure out what it is. Like yesterday, I spent my afternoon in Marshalltown because the Marshalltown School District just finally got to the point where they were fixed up enough that they realized that a fiber link between two of their buildings wasn't because something was wrong on one end or the other, that it's something in the middle. And so now I have to go figure out what it is. And I wasn't able to get it yesterday afternoon, and they weren't that worried about it. So it's Monday's problem.
We all know your biggest complaint with your job is not getting enough overtime. So this is good. This is what you've been looking for.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, and then I had to take my kid to work because my wife got a kidney infection.
When it rains,
so
it
Logan
pours.
got to come with me. He loved it. He thought it was the best.
Just hanging out in the truck, or what was he doing?
Well, so
Was he actually helping?
yeah. Well, he would just run around and ask questions and all this stuff. It was really funny because he was asking me what these tools were for, and I told him that if I use it to fix fiber, and then he asked me what that was, and I told him, well, it brings internet to things, and so I kind of was trying to figure out how to explain that to him, right? And so I was like, when your iPad, when the movies don't load on your iPad, that's because the internet's broken, because his iPad doesn't have a cell phone connection because his dad's a cheapskate, and so
Dare you?
So an hour or two later, he had his iPad and he's sitting next to me in the truck. And that tool that he was playing with is sitting on my center console, and his iPad wouldn't load YouTube because it doesn't have an internet connection.
Yep.
And so he grabs that thing off my dash and he starts touching it to his iPad. I was like, well,
not quite.
he knows what I'm talking about. He gets it. It's just not quite. That's not how it works. But it was funny to me that was like that he made those two connections. You know?
Yeah.
So
kids are smart, man. Smarter than we give them credit for.
Yeah, he keeps asking me to go back to work with him or with me. He keeps, oh, where are you going? Like, oh, I got to go to work, buddy. Like, oh, I'll come with. No, you got to stay home now. Mom's back. You got to stay with mom. No, I want to come see your friends because he thinks everybody I work with is my friend.
Yeah, coworkers are always friends.
Isn't that true? I love all my coworkers.
Yeah, they're all my best friends.
Absolutely. I spend more time with them than I do with my family. So
it's weird. We don't hang out with them every night.
Yeah.
I do have one that lives with me, so shit.
Oh, man.
So you actually do.
So let's talk about cars and stuff. We got a lot of car stuff to talk about.
We do.
When have we talked about car stuff on this podcast?
We'll try.
You say that
new.
like you've been on this podcast a million times.
Well, I just feel like I have been.
That's because listening to a podcast feels like you're there with your friends.
Yeah.
We provide a friendship to people that otherwise don't have friends.
That's probably true.
That makes sense. Maybe that's why I'm so attached to you guys, because I don't have any other friends.
Aw.
Hey, me too, man. That's why I attach myself to the group so much, because those are my friends.
There you go. So what did we do? We went to. Let's start with going to Colorado.
Yeah, because we didn't think we were going to go.
I was pretty sure I wasn't.
I was convinced there was no way you could go, and then I was convinced that as the storm hit, there was no way I could go. Because but by day 3 with no power, I'm piggybacking off of my neighbor's generator because he was nice enough to say, "Hey, I got an extra outlet." So I ran over to the store because I was ready to buy a generator, but of course I would have had to drive 2 hours just to get to a place that had one.
Yeah, I was out of control.
If you were lucky, I bet they would have been sold out by the time you got there too.
Kansas City's only a couple hours away. I could have got one in Kansas City if I had to, or Omaha. But
I bet Dalton would loan you one. There's no way
I got a
Dalton
couple.
doesn't own a generator.
Yeah,
I got some air conditioners I need to run at the track.
Yeah, my parents had one too. So, I mean, I had options if it really came to that. But, I mean, I just didn't want to throw away an entire deep freeze worth of food away. And, of course, there's no ice in the whole city. So
I did. I bet I threw $200 or $300 worth of food away.
I had just gotten groceries, and I had just topped off the deep freeze with meat from Jess's dad had butchered a cow. So, yeah, I wanted to keep that from being
that
spoiled.
sucks.
So I was piggybacking off the neighbor, and I was talking to Jess like, if we don't have electricity by Friday, I mean, or Thursday, do I really leave? She's like, yeah, you have to. So she clearly didn't want me here without any more storms or without any electricity. So guess we're going to Colorado. You could figure out the electricity thing then.
Not your problem.
No,
Best kind of problems.
Yeah. Well, luckily the electricity came back on probably 4 hours after we left, which is be about 6 hours after we were supposed to leave, thanks to Adam.
Sorry. I was tired.
Oh man. That's where we can start.
And you beat us there still.
Well, yeah.
We did.
Slow and steady wins the race.
It's not slow and steady when you start out 6 hours late. That's not slow and steady.
We weren't
That's just
6
leaving.
hours late. That's an exaggeration.
We were at least 4 hours late from my original plan.
I slept
At least
2
4
hours. I slept in 2 extra hours.
You slept in 2 extra
that
hours
bad.
from when you were supposed to be at Robbie's. It's not like you slept in 2 hours. You were supposed to be at Robbie's and you woke up 2 hours after that.
I slept through 2 full alarms.
Yeah, so here's how this went down. So during the week, we were both arguing, not necessarily arguing, but like talking about like, okay, what time do we leave? Well, I don't know, because of electricity. And I was like, how about if we leave at 4, that means we can get there at, I don't know, whatever the hell time it was in Colorado, early. And you said, no, let's do 5. And we settled on 5. So I woke up at 4:30, got everything loaded, and at 5 o'clock...
He says, you said no like I was being the dick.
Asshole.
Like I'm the dick in this situation.
You are the dick.
Total
You're
asshole.
always the dick.
He said, your schedule, wrong. My schedule, right.
I literally got home. So we left Thursday morning. I got home at midnight on Wednesday from working.
And you had all day to sleep in the car. I'm just saying.
And I didn't, did I? No, I did.
You did sleep some.
Just for a little while.
So, at 5 o'clock, no Adam. I sent him a text.
So I set an alarm for 3:30 because I was going to wake up and just hit the road. And then I slept through that. And then my normal alarm, which goes off at 5:40 or at 4:40 every morning, I didn't shut that one off either, and I slept through that. So I slept through 2 full alarms without waking up at all.
So then
the funny part about this is Robbie's talking to us on a group chat. When the fuck do I just leave him? He isn't showing up. Do I do anything? Like, we're assuming he called him or anything. He's just like about ready to bail on you. Like, before he even talked to you or tried giving you one phone call. Like, then it's like half hour talking. He's like, should I give him a call? I'm like, yeah, you should give him a fucking call. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm going to chalk that up to a lack of coffee. Because, I texted him or messaged him on Facebook. He's in the group chat that we're talking on. So I'm giving him shit in the group, expecting him to see it eventually. And then I text him. And it doesn't occur to me to just pick up the phone and call. My first thought is, all right, fuck it, I'll leave him. I don't know why I jumped to that conclusion. I didn't even think to call.
Someday you'll get used to having a friend, Robbie. It'll be okay.
Well, him and I never call, ever. Not since we skate together.
We talk and it's even almost because of the podcast, we talk less to each other because anytime we're talking to each other, we're probably burning up content.
It's perfect podcast content, so we can't talk.
We don't talk to each other almost ever. As minimal amount of talking as possible to get what we need to get done before the podcast starts. Because whatever it is that we're talking about, we don't want to rehash on the podcast because it's hard to pretend like I don't already know what he's talking about or whatever.
We've gone days and weeks where we have something we want to tell each other, but we won't tell each other because it has to be on the podcast because the reaction is better than if we would tell them days in advance.
Absolutely.
I have an easy solution to make sure it doesn't go over a week, and that's have a podcast every fucking week.
You tell Iowa to stop having hurricanes and 2020 to stop fucking us, and we'll be fine.
I'll tell them.
Yeah,
fuck you, Iowa. That work? I got you guys back.
Yeah, blame Iowa Man.
Yeah, we ever since Iowa Man has been a thing, we've been just screwed over left and right.
You're not wrong. It's been worse. At least the Northwest Iowa's been okay.
It always works
weather-wise.
It always works out for you.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the
say that.
Truth. It's absolutely the truth.
We don't know that yet.
You made out on your
truck,
your Ram.
That's fucking
you made out on your Cruise.
We'll get there.
Yeah, you fucking buy a truck with an axle in the cabin, fix it up, and then say you made out. That was a pain in the ass.
Uh-huh.
I would never have bought the truck to begin with. That's the problem. Which I guess that's probably why you make out on stuff and I don't. But whatever.
You just need a frame rack. You can fix all the things with a frame rack.
That's right. You bought a frame rack.
Everyone needs a frame rack.
He bought it just to fix the truck.
Well, we'll get to that. Why it's important that you have that now.
Oh, that's hopefully not needed.
We'll get there. So
if it is, it's there.
So yeah,
just waiting.
Yep. So that's stick around. We'll talk about that. So 5:30 rolls around. I finally call Adam. He immediately answers with, "Oh fuck, I'll be right there." So
right there in an hour because I live an hour away from Robbie.
At least an hour later. At this point, I'm entire coffee pot deep. I couldn't go back to bed if I wanted to. I'm ready to go. The car's packed. Everything's ready. I'm just sitting there turning on my phone. And I've been playing on my phone for hours. So my battery's as dead as Adam's phone. He finally
this one that won't turn on right now.
That's the one.
Dead.
That's the one. That's the one.
At 10 o'clock in the morning, it's dead.
How is that not powered up yet?
Because I told you it takes 40 minutes to turn on.
You need better shit.
I'm trying to get a new phone, but Verizon won't take me.
And then don't stab your fucking charging port with a screwdriver next time.
I've only done that once.
That's all it took, wasn't it?
It cleaned it out. It worked better for a while. It's just that it won't register headphones ever since.
Oh, that's annoying.
It's super annoying.
Anyways,
but anyway.
Yeah, so 8 o'clock rolls around. We're on the road. 4 hours behind schedule, but we're on the road.
Fine, though, Robbie, because we still got there plenty of time. I feel like we got there at the time
we were supposed to
that we needed to be there anyway. If we'd have got there earlier, we'd have just been there earlier.
True.
We didn't miss anything.
No, and it wasn't as packed as I thought it was going to be, and we found a spot, and everything worked out.
The place it's like it was set up to accept huge volumes of people.
Yes.
Yes.
And the people that were
very nice.
doing registration.
Super nice.
the people that were taking all the paperwork and registration were really quick and good. You just walk in, got signed out or signed in, and gone right back out.
Yep.
So for my setup to leave for PPIR, it was not as great. First off, somehow these idiots talked me into taking my Corvette that was not ready to go at all, and I was still waiting on.
So, like most people, week of, right? The race prep, you're like, oh, maybe I'll do the old nut and bolt check, make sure everything's tight, maybe get some spare tires mounted. Normal week of the race prep. No, the night before we're getting ready to leave, Dalton's pulled the intake off of his car because he's going to drill holes in his heads.
What were you doing
beforehand? And the factory steam vent crossover line was leaking out of the O-ring. So instead of just replacing an O-ring, I said, time to upgrade. And turns out the trick flow kit does not have everything you need. You need an AN fitting to tie back in, AN back to a barb nipple to tie into the radiator overflow. So as a place to go if steam bubbles happen, but does not come with that. So the day before, I'm having Josh Fettis went and looked all through Sioux Falls for AN fitting, no luck. So we had to, in the morning, go to where would we go? Speedway in Lincoln.
Speedway Motors in Lincoln, Nebraska. Thankfully, it's on the way.
Amazing. It is.
At least it was on the way.
And it is amazing. So, I had put my car on the trailer with my coolant system not in prep, no water in the engine or anything. So go to Speedway. We are way ahead of them at this point. But
like
on the way,
2.5 hours ahead of us.
The day before, I knew I was going to have to bleed the brakes on my trailer because those have never really worked the greatest at all. And
you don't really need trailer brakes on a trailer.
Plus you got a brand new pickup.
Just let the truck slow it down.
Yeah, it's a one-ton dually. How much brakes could you really need?
Yeah, have we talked about you getting that new truck yet?
No, we haven't.
All right, we'll get a 47-foot long trailer with 3 race cars in it. How bad?
That's a lot of weight. It'll stop itself.
Yeah, that's how that works. I told you about the braking problems when we got to Colorado. But either way, I don't even know if I even told you guys that. So
you're gonna now.
So somehow along the lines of bleeding the brakes the night before, we kind of just went down there, cracked it because it has electric to hydraulic brakes, so it has a whole hydraulic brake system. So had Josh go up and pump the brakes while I bled them, go tighten back up, and it just went in the morning, worked for a little while, and then next thing you know, brakes are gone again. Pull over, take a quick look at them, and I'm missing one complete brake bleeder.
Oh,
it's
shit.
just gone. So we're like, well,
so
whatever.
Did you just not tighten it up then, or
I don't know what my mechanic did.
You mean you?
It sounds better if I say my mechanic. My mechanic has been known to drink some beer, so I'm thinking that's what happened. So get to Speedway, try to get bleeders. Speedway has so many fucking bleeders, it's unbelievable, but not the right one. So we go, get the AN fitting, make sure that's the right AN fitting, try to get bleeders Speedway. We waste a lot of time there trying to get the right bleeder, but they do not have just a normal 5/16 bleeder. So we just go to O'Reilly's down the road, just park there, and we find the bleeders, put the bleeder in. They had a whole bleeder kit, put a bleeder in, test the brakes, and it blows out 2 of the slave cylinders like almost instantly. So then we're like, fuck. 2 of 6 slave cylinders. We're just in O'Reilly's parking lot. Like, what do we fucking do now? Go back in O'Reilly's and we go to the T's and we plug the holes on all those. And then they tell it, well, after we get done with that, they tell us, no, you can't do this here anymore because, it's a 50-foot trailer and a truck. We're almost.
Yeah, I'm sure that fits just fine in like every parts store parking lot I've ever been in.
It only took up half their parking spots. I bet. It's no big deal.
They still, you can still park up next to the building.
You're taking
Corona. They can't have that many people in the building anyways.
That's probably
that's
true.
fair.
You're taking up most of
the
parking spots, and you're in there buying $3 worth of parts at a time.
CDC would have approved. Making sure O'Reilly doesn't get overpacked.
You're doing your part. Yeah, you're doing the safe thing,
aren't you?
Yep, the safe thing.
Yep, try my hardest.
Flatten the curve.
Then so we get that, and then next thing we know, one of the adjusters on the drum brakes just fell out. So like, fuck, we don't have brakes unless we fix this. And the next thing you know, if we don't fix it, the slave cylinder is gonna blow out or fuck up. So we go down the block, just pull on the side of the road, And to get to pull the drum off that, you got to pull the whole bearing, hub, everything. So that's what really took the most time. So in jacking up that trailer with 3 cars in it, I have a bottle jack. It's a 20-ton bottle jack, but God, it sucks. So there we were, jacked it off. Okay? Got Robbie all excited with his I Come coffee mug.
Hey.
But
it's I Heart Coming. It's way different.
All we can see is I Come.
And you're going to put it back down. And it's going to say I Come again. It's great.
This is an awesome gift I got from Dallas.
From Dallas.
Dallas knows what's up. Robbie does come.
I Heart Coming. It's a great town.
Either way, so that was a huge waste of time pulling that whole drum brake off and getting the adjuster back on and fixing all those brakes. So
do you have drum brake tools?
Normal people have those?
No, normal people don't. Old people do. That's why I was wondering, because I didn't think you probably do. Like, I'm sure your dad does. My dad does.
The pads are almost new, so and if I never fix the brakes correctly, it won't go through that much pads anyways. It'll be fine. But no, we got it working with 4 out of the 6 brakes. It's fine. So I need to get some new slave cylinders and go through it all again.
Yeah, so have you fixed it yet?
Other upsets.
No.
Hopefully Josh doesn't listen to this. He's going to give you so much shit.
Wait,
I sent you a picture of him fixing it on the side of the road.
Yeah, your mechanic is fixing it. On the...
See, I told you I had a mechanic. He fucks up everything. He's a bad manager and mechanic.
Poor Josh.
He's not here to defend himself.
He shows up. He shows up for a nice weekend and spends the whole time just working on fixing your shit.
It was weird. True. We didn't have to work on any of Robbie's shit.
Yeah.
Like at all. Robbie didn't even rotate tires or anything.
No. Well, they're so hard it didn't matter.
Fuck, it was only my shit.
Yeah, we only fixed your stuff.
You and Eric.
Yep.
Yeah, Eric. I don't know if Josh helped him much, though. Did he, Eric?
Oh, I don't know if
so.
he helped Eric, I guess.
He was too busy working.
Too busy passing Josh in there, Ryan, so he could work on my shit. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Also, thanks, Dusty, for getting me a ticket to Time Attack, because
he
greatly appreciated.
He had a bad weekend, too, because they made it, 100 miles out of Texas?
Out of Dallas?
Before there.
I don't think they'd even made it out of Texas.
Oh, no.
They never made it out of Texas. But Texas is so big, you don't really know what that means.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That could be 10 hours or 2 hours or whatever.
15.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I guess that was like the maiden no, was it the maiden voyage of the camper? Or was that at Hallett?
With a trailer.
It was because he took the truck and trailer to Hallett and then brought the camper separate.
Oh, okay.
And this was the first trip together. They
blew a belt, the accessory drive belt, on the camper, and apparently that's an ordeal and a half.
Huge ordeal.
Because then the mechanics say they had to take the radiator and all that shit out just to get to it.
I think that was the first mechanic, and that the second mechanic was a little bit smarter, and he was able to get it fixed without having to tear the half of the engine compartment apart.
Yeah, it looked like
that's like one of the
mechanic.
I mean, that thing's not small. It's like a bus-sized thing.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, if they had to tow that back, that's thousands of dollars in tow bills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So that would have sucked.
Yeah, I could see why after dealing with that for a day, you're just like, fuck it, I'm not going. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing.
So he traded out spots for Dalton because Dalton forgot to buy a ticket.
I don't have any explanation for this, really.
It was really funny because you're giving me shit like, "Oh, we gotta go, you gotta go. I got a ticket." And it's like,
maybe if you ever accepted going, I would have bought tickets and made sure. But someone's like, "I'm not going."
I wasn't gonna go until Adam Pacetto wrecked his car and said I had to take his ticket.
Trailer and air conditioning for you to hang out in, Robbie.
I slept in the tent. It was fine.
Yeah, he won't.
I froze my ass off in Dalton's trailer.
I was comfortable in my tent.
Great.
So cold.
So cold. So fucking good.
Oh, terrible.
But Dalton forgot to buy his Time Attack ticket. And so then, literally Wednesday night, he's panicking.
Texting
so
Jabay.
He ended up having to buy an HPDE ticket. Yeah, I messaged Jabay, reached out to Jabay, see if he had any TT spots open. He didn't. So Dalton buys an HPD advanced ticket, which apparently should have been where he was because there was like no more than 3 cars on track at a time in HPD advanced on the weekend.
Group A, I mean, after 2 minutes, there's only 3 cars on track too. So
yeah, Dalton
what's the difference?
The last person on track, which was hilarious. Dalton's the only Group A guy who could do a full 20-minute session, apparently, which is funny. But so then, since Dusty wasn't going to make it, Dalton was able to buy his time attack spot. So all was well in the end. So
all as well as could be.
Go ahead, Robbie.
I was going to say, so at this point, you're in Lincoln with your trailer torn apart, and we're past Lincoln on our way to Colorado. Comfortably driving. Cruise is set. Just not a care in the world. Just listening.
Just cruising right along. You barely even knew that trailer was back. Just looked like someone was tailgating.
Yep, just listening to XM radio. Bullshit and having a good old time. Texting,
was great.
You having Adam text the group chat, making fun of you,
giggling.
Yeah, that was pretty much what was happening. But after that, I had the crew set. I'm 80 something the whole way there, trying to catch up with you because I had a point to prove. But
what was your point?
Man, was this new truck eat fuel?
Yeah, tell us about your new truck because I don't think we've gotten into it yet.
It's just since they have no cheaper dualies on the lot at the time, and I found a semi-reasonable deal, $13,000 off. So, and I wanted blue, so I went and picked up a blue dually high country 4-door, and pretty great besides having emissions.
A 2020,
yeah, brand new,
2020, yeah,
brand new.
2019s aren't rated to pull 35,000 pounds, Adam. They're only rated for like 20.
Why wouldn't they even? If you can't pull 35,000 pounds, what's the point?
Why even make it?
Why even bother? Is this half ton territory or what?
Yeah, I wanted a truck, not a minivan.
Hey,
yeah, Robbie.
Some of us don't.
Robbie, how's your minivan?
Some of us don't need 35,000 pounds of towing capacity.
Yet
you have 2 race cars, Robbie. You're in the same predicament.
I have no reason to take them both at the same spot.
I have heard rumors about the 350Z, and if the 350Z
we'll get there.
Rumors are true.
We'll get there.
Just saying
we'll
rumors.
get there.
And
plus, I have you.
I mean, there's gonna have to be some time attack spots in there too. I mean, you aren't gonna not race time attack. So
that's what 2 cars are for. It's fine. That's why I have you.
2-car trailer, Robbie.
Yeah, 2 cars at the same time, Robbie.
2 cars at the same time. No,
you'll be as stupid as me here soon enough. It sounds like
that is not true. Adam's going to back me up on this one.
That as long as I live, Robbie will never be as stupid as you. 2020's thrown us a lot of curveballs, but let's calm down. Let's just pump the brakes on.
That's the nicest thing he's ever said about me.
I know that Dalton's brakes only work halfway, but let's pump it. Okay,
2/3 away. Come on,
slow down a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely give them a couple extra pumps. Make sure they work. But.
Yeah, because that's not going to happen. Things I know are never going to happen.
Well, this is
Robbie acting
I'll see you guys later.
This is Dalton.
Not as ridiculous. Maybe a 2-car trailer, not 3.
I don't need 3. That's
honestly, I'm a little shocked that Robbie has 2 race cars to begin with because that's pretty out of character in all reality.
Collector never stops collecting, Adam.
I mean, sure, but I suppose he got married and that's what he had to do, right?
Yeah.
So either way, I got a truck that could pull my trailer because my 3/4 ton single wheel Dodge was you're not loving life.
So what you're saying is your budget trailer led to a brand new 2020 full ton pickup.
The trailer was cheap. The $60,000 truck was a hidden cost.
It was a hidden cost.
You know how they get you with those, like when you're buying houses and stuff, they get you with those hidden costs.
Yep.
Turns out it happens with stackers too.
You get a $4,000 trailer. Next thing you know, you spend $67,000 a truck. Comes out of nowhere. Who would have thought?
Just hit him like a freight train, just out of nowhere.
Well, it's the size of a freight train, so I mean it works.
I'm happy as can be though. I was looking to get rid of that Dodge anyways. I was not the happiest with that thing.
Yeah, it was not in the best shape at Heartland Park. It's
thanks for hitting deers.
Its shifts were not confidence inspiring. Like shifting from reverse to drive, that was ka-chunk. I didn't really believe that was going to last a long time.
I don't know what you're talking about, Robbie. That is the performance transmission.
Even without a trailer, we're in the parking lot going to get like burgers and whatnot, and you shift from back out of the spot.
Drive.
No, reverse to drive, and it's just the whole truck just shakes as it goes slam into gear,
and then we're off. And that is the time I took getting a new 1-ton very seriously.
Yeah, I think that was when you had made the commitment to the new truck.
I mean, I was kind of looking, but I was hoping to get like an LT or LTZ, just something, whatever had heated seats. That's all I wanted. And the next thing I know, I got heated, cool.
You have a special
17 cameras.
Special edition.
Dude, the camera setup on that thing is out of control.
It's fucking awesome.
It's got a camera from every angle.
The overview camera, I think my favorite thing is when you're pulling the trailer off the mirror, it has if you turn your blinker on, it'll go down your whole blind zone on of which way you're turning. So if you're merging, you can kind of see off to that side behind you.
Yeah.
The 360 cam.
Awesome.
That's ridiculous. So the truck's it's quite the piece of equipment.
Yeah, it's optioned up in every possible way. I mean, it's a hell of a truck. Don't get me wrong. I'm giving you shit because you have such a over the top truck, but
it's
so nice.
If Dalton's going to do something, he's going to do it over the top. I mean,
we've said it before.
Things once.
If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing.
Just not underdoing houses.
Yeah, that's not important.
Well, yeah, Dalton's a slumlord, so
yeah, you got money coming in from all over.
And my truck are probably worth more than my 4 houses.
And the Camaro. Well, the Camaro used to be.
Camaro, where it's on the.
We'll get there.
It's on the downward swing.
We'll get there.
Someone offered me $8,000 for it, so we'll just go with that.
Ouch.
That's a cash offer.
Jeez. Jesus Christ.
It's not that bad.
So we made it safely to Colorado.
Yep.
Wait, before we get there.
Oh, we haven't made it there yet?
I haven't made it there yet. I forgot one thing because about this whole braking situation that we have 2/3 of. That would have been Colorado Springs, pulling up through traffic. And, I try my hardest to stay off people's asses pulling that trailer because it's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
But I was braking more than I should have. And all of a sudden, just pull through a stoplight and smoke starts rolling off all 4 of my tires in my truck. I'm like, oh, shit. And then the new truck's like, reduce braking. Your brakes may be overheating. Like, you're about 5 seconds too late, GM. Just 5 seconds. Like, I can tell already. There's smoke rolling out these.
At least they were close.
They tried their hardest. Kind of like my OnStar. Like a month later, after Camaro blows up, I get hey, you should probably go to the dealership about this. Robbie, 2 minutes.
I get mine as I'm driving to the dealer like 10 minutes after it happens. It's like, hey, by the way, you got a misfire. You're right. I do.
I'm missing half my cylinders or whatever, and it takes a month to tell me about it. But that was the last exciting part of going to the track. Getting there, I guess, besides the 7 miles to the gallon, which is horrendous.
It's not that bad, though, when you're hauling 3 cars.
No.
And one way with 3 cars, about 1,000 miles to about 6 gallons of DEF, which also is a huge pain in the ass.
So, how much did that? So you split the gas 3 ways, right?
It was only $150 a person. So really, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't too bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
Robbie, do you have any idea what you spent on gas?
I didn't even look.
Probably about the same, though, right?
It had to be more than that, I bet.
No.
A little bit.
I did.
You would have had to get 21 miles a gallon to get that.
No, I did 12.5 miles to the gallon. So, I mean, I guess at interstate speeds,
gas is going to be a little cheaper.
Yeah, I was at interstate speeds. I was doing 12.5 miles to the gallon, and then on highway speeds at 60, I was at 15. So I mean, I was doing pretty good. I
actually got.
I didn't actually
half on the way back.
Yeah, I didn't put a number to it because I wasn't making Adam pay for it. So swipe the card and move on.
Yeah, I have a lot of pictures of gas pumps to keep track of the price. I get back and I look at my last 50 pictures. I'm like, oh god. They're going to hate me.
No, I don't want to know. So I don't look.
It doesn't matter.
It's a sunk cost.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and I'm going to pay it. So too bad.
That's funny.
But it was funny driving, and then we text when we asked Josh, is this your first stop for gas? And he goes, oh, God, no. Oh, God, no.
Oh gosh, no. We'd be driving down the road just like quietly, just kind of driving down the road, and all of a sudden, Robbie to my left goes, "Oh gosh, no," and then giggles at himself. I was like, "Fucking Robbie." He's just over there thinking that poor Dalton, and this is hilarious to him.
Yep. Actually,
it was fine.
The best part of my drive was when I introduced Adam to Cardi B's WAP song. He'd never heard it.
I got mop and bucket and wop on the side of my fucking trailer now.
You're welcome.
Did you do the mop and bucket? I thought it showed up when I was back in Sheldon.
No, someone else must have done bucket and a mop, but I wrote WAP on the side of your trailer.
I had a pretty good idea it was you.
Nope, not me. Well, one of it was, but
I still think we need to clear coat his trailer before he has a chance to wash off all the gang symbols and the WAP and the mop and the bucket and Iowa Man Racing written in the dirt.
I think that's fair.
We just clear coat over it so it can't be removed.
You can get clear coat spray cans at Walmart for like $3.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll just do it real quick. We don't have to mask anything
so dirty. I could wipe the clear coat off that dirt. Like, it's not on the paint.
Yeah, a power washer would bring it all off. It'd still be worth it for us for the laugh. It's good podcast content.
It's absolutely worth the laugh.
But because of Cardi B's song, the entire weekend, the phrase of the weekend was, "Just get a bucket and a mop." The whole time. Dalton, where are you going? I don't know. You'd say where you're going. All right, don't forget to bring a bucket and a mop. Hilarious. Freaking love it. So Adam hates it. Adam hates it.
I could have lived a long and happy life not ever hearing that song. It would have been fine.
It's my new favorite song, only because it really annoys Adam. Anyway. So, Dalton, you made it to PPIR after we did, and we were way, way, way behind you at first.
Which, thank God, because that means Adam was way ahead of schedule and found and saved me a spot to park my monstrosity.
It wasn't that bad.
No.
Jabez knows better now. So when they're planning out parking spots this year, they had like a certain number of spots designated for long rigs. So, and it's not so bad because you show up with this huge rig and you had 3 registered cars in it. Whereas the guy next to us, he had, his trailer wasn't small. It wasn't quite as big as yours, but it wasn't small. And that has 1 car in it.
Yeah, because it is basically a camper.
Yeah, it is a camper. But, he doesn't care so much about the people who show up with this giant rig that has a bunch of cars in it. The problem is these people that show up with these giant rigs and have a car. Those are the ones that cause the issues with parking space.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fine.
No, it worked out.
Anything it's known about. It's my consideration. I'm just too nice.
That's
it for sure. But there was enough room.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No, I thought it'd be more packed than it was.
Last year, the paddock situation was worse.
Yeah, I believe that.
I'm assuming if it wasn't Rona time, it would have been a lot better, though.
Yeah, I think.
Or worse. I mean.
Yeah, I think the participation was down quite a bit because there was a lot of regulars at Gridlife that didn't make it.
Well, the can was still being killed.
That was that way last year too, but it was the first one of that event last year. So I was kind of hoping that this year people would be like, "Oh yeah, that looked awesome. I don't want to miss it," and would show up. And then, of course,
Rona.
The world had to come to an end instead. So, but so then we've arrived. I think unpacking went relatively trouble-free, didn't it?
Yeah, I had no issues.
I didn't help Robbie off his trailer this time, so it went pretty smoothly from my understanding.
Yep, no more extra damage to the truck. It just figured out my stuff on my own and no problem at all. So that's nice.
Weird.
Fuck off.
Yeah, no, we were lucky we were grouped, all of our friends were kind of in the same area, so we just kind of put the trailers on the outside, put all the cars on the inside, and then we all could kind of intermingle back and forth. So it was real nice setup. Yeah, honestly, really no issues at all. Besides Dalton's trailer taking up all the room.
There was 4 people sleeping in that trailer and 3 cars in that trailer. I feel like we took up a reasonable amount of room for what we had.
Yeah, probably. But then then there's cement everywhere, which is kind of not great for a tent. So
Robbie struggled there.
So I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put my tent. So then I go and put it next to this like cement barrier that's kind of in the middle of everything, right next to the power transformer thing. So it's all set up and ready to go. And then Dalton's like, I need power. And then looking at like, well, let's use that. I'm like, fuck, that means I gotta listen to this thing buzz all weekend. Luckily, you decided against it because I really didn't want to move my.
I didn't decide against it. Jabate decided against it because I don't give a fuck about you and your tent.
You just said how nice you were.
Oh, to Jabate. Fuck you, Robbie.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's the general rule, I think, for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, yeah. So like the worst part was that Thursday night was that everyone started drinking, and then at 3 a.m, everyone's like drunk as fuck, loud, sitting next to my tent. Like people had come over from other areas, were drinking with our buddies, and they're like, "Guys, Robbie's sleeping." Yeah, shut up, he's sleeping. It's like, guys.
Not anymore.
No. And then like, I was sleeping through all of it until they said my name. Every time they said my name, I'd wake up. But like if they were just like listening to music or just talking or whatever, it was fine. But every time I heard my name, my ears would perk up and I'd wake up.
Robbie, there's a trailer right next to you with air conditioning. It was quiet in there. I slept like a baby Friday night. It was great.
It was silent except for Adam snoring.
Nobody complained about my snoring the entire weekend, Robbie.
I think you make this up.
I think this is made up for podcast content. You were playing the long game on this joke for the last 10 years.
I think the cat's out of the bag there.
Not
Robbie,
true at all.
But I mean, Katie are in on this.
The temperature was perfect though for sleeping in a tent. People would just stop.
It was perfect to be blasting air conditioning.
No, it was not. It was far too cold for that.
I think I'm the only person that goes to Gridlife and sleeps more than I do at home.
Yeah, probably.
I think I slept more. I passed the fuck out.
Oh, dude, I went Thursday night. I went to bed at like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
And I was out till like 9 o'clock the next morning. Just out. I was so
9
tired.
o'clock is a lie. You were like sleeping till like 10:30, 11.
No, it wasn't that late. Calm the fuck down.
It was pretty late.
It was really
not
late.
10 o'clock in the morning.
There's cars bouncing off the rev limiters like 2 spots down.
Dude,
we had the door propped open, everything, trying to wake you up.
That trailer's like a tomb. You don't hear anything in it.
Yeah, there's no windows or anything.
It's great.
The no windows is
it's like a casino.
But you also sleep so good. You have to have Robbie come bang on the side of your trailer to wake you up in the morning.
Well, luckily Gridlife wants to go late into the night, so the like drivers meetings and stuff don't start till like 9 o'clock. Whereas
it's kind of weird. Saturday
I didn't go hot till like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, which is super weird because like at that point I've been up for a few hours and I've been sitting there ready to go. Like, let's get on track already.
Wait, was it Friday or Saturday? It started really late. I forget.
Both.
This was 3 days.
Both.
Robbie was getting anxious because he felt like he wasn't doing anything because he's so used to trying to run the event and drive at the same time.
It was refreshing, yet yeah, I felt like I was letting something go. Like I should have been busier. Like, yeah, I get up, drink coffee, slowly eat breakfast, relax, kind of give a car a once over, and then at that point it's like 8 o'clock.
Still 3 hours till the track goes hot. 4 hours till the first time attack session.
All of us sleeping in the trailer, all comfortable because the sun didn't wake us up at fucking 5:30.
It did wake me up very early. I was definitely one of the first ones up every day.
Nah, man.
Sunday I made damn sure I was the first one to start my car. Because fuck all you drunks.
I guess who was sleeping comfortably in a trailer that couldn't hear your little fucking 350Z because you put reasonable exhaust on it.
It's not reasonable. It's loud.
It's definitely not that loud, Robbie.
That's good.
Take the resonators off.
No, hell no. It sounds so bad. It's actually worse inside just because it rattles. But anyways, so we finally were able to get on track. Dalton decided to bring his HPDE unlimited Corvette. Wait, no, your track mod.
Track mod.
Yeah, so you wanted to.
I should have brought the slicks. I should have brought the fucking slicks.
You should have. You would have went home with a trophy.
You could have been FTD.
Yep.
I don't think that much.
Nah, dude,
on
you had
slicks,
it.
You had it.
I don't think slicks were worth 3 seconds.
I think they
4.5
were.
or
But-
5.
Shh, 3
Oh,
seconds.
no, it was only 3.5.
He ran Ferris ran like a 56.
56.6, and I ran a 1:00:069.
Yeah, so you needed
Nah.
you needed like 3.5 or 4 seconds at least.
3.5 seconds. But on couple-year-old tires compared to brand new sticker A7s, it might have been there. I don't think it was 3.5 seconds, but it would have been a lot closer. I would at least beat the fucking 1 minute mark.
You definitely would have done that.
God damn it.
Oh, man.
So at this track, I guess 100-mile-an-hour club is apparently a thing.
Which is weird because that's not hard to do.
Yeah, I don't
Unless
know.
I'm misunderstanding what that
130
means.
I
mile
kind
an
of
hour
wonder.
club.
I wonder if it was maybe a joke thing, and a bunch of people made stickers, and so now as an outsider, I think it's a thing, but I don't think it's really as big a thing as I think it might be.
A bone stock Z.
Is it just
can
a
do
thing
it.
for Miatas?
No, because basically anyone that was
But even a Miata.
anyone in
you can
Time
take-
Attack was doing that. Like the
I
whole
mean,
thing, except
I
for like
was
some of the
over 100
slowest
miles
cars.
an hour around over the bump.
Yeah,
So
I
in
was.
like the lightweight Miata. You could just hold it flat all the way around the banking. There's no way you can't hit 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, because I was entering at 95.
You were entering the
Here, I'll double check on my Apex Pro data.
banking.
Yeah, in the Z.
I really need to get a fucking Apex.
I know you do.
Yeah, you do. Come on, man, get with the program.
If I quit breaking shit,
Check out code 10tenths. Get a free suction cup mount.
Yeah, so I would enter the bank at 95, and then down the back straight I would go 105 in a
Really?
in a stock Z.
so I was entering at 125 ish, but then I let off and gave a quite little tap and then coasted, and then I got straight over the bump, and I was going about 105 over the bump.
Yeah. See, I was going quite a bit
then-
slower over the bump.
And then once it hit the bump, I got back on power. And
Yeah, 85 on the bump for me.
Really?
Yep.
But your bumps looked a lot cooler.
Thanks. Yeah, because I bottomed out and scraped up all my
Bottomed out
exhaust.
straight. And the biggest problem is you weren't in party mode on your
Yeah,
underglow.
what the hell, Robbie?
You guys took it. You guys messed with it.
No, we tried.
Yeah, we
put on
tried to
party
turn
mode.
on party mode.
We turn on party mode. You make it 2 corners. We're all excited. Woo! And then next thing you know, Robbie comes around, hits a fucking kill switch.
I did
Ain't
not.
having none of that
I
shit.
absolutely did not.
It ain't blue. It's fucking off.
No,
Couldn't turn them back on the rest of the session.
all right. So we kind of talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago. Whereas I learned that my lights will turn on when they feel like it, so I had to put kill switches on them. My underglow lights, I mean. And then the remote for them works for all of them, whether it's mine, yours,
Pit bike.
Josh's pit bike.
Josh's pit bike,
Everybody.
which was fucking hilarious.
I think it was so bright.
Yep. So yeah, didn't he put like an entire car underglow
yeah, he put
system
a-
Yep,
on
the
his?
whole car kit on a ruckus, essentially.
I almost put 2 car kits on my Corvette.
Yeah, so we're sitting in the paddock the first night. Everyone's got their underglow on, and every time one of us changes it, it changes everybody's. So like mine was orange for a while, which is really annoying.
A lot of the time.
And then we
it was
switched
the right color.
switched it to the party mode, so it would switch between all the colors. So then I'd go out on the later sessions because like we'd go out about 8 o'clock for like the last time attack session of the day, which is right as the sun was going down. So I'd go out with my underglow on, and then Josh tries to change them as I'm on track, and for some reason it didn't switch them; it just shut them off.
It did switch them.
But then it shut them off.
But then when you came around them the next lap, they were off, and we thought that you had shut them off because you got mad at us. Or
Abs-
something.
Oh,
No,
we don't
abs-
think we
absolutely
know.
not.
This is just like Heartland Park Topeka where he fucking cheated. This is the same fucking thing. He's going to deny it for the rest of his life.
I will.
But he fucking kill switched it.
I would never kill switch it, even if they were like any color. Any color is better than no color.
We just thought it was funny to try and change it.
Yeah, I don't care what color you make them.
We were like running around, like trying to figure out, like, where can we be closest to the track? So we were up on like the banking area,
Yep.
which is where we filmed you bottoming out and throwing sparks. And then we went down into the infield and we were able to get pretty close. And that's where we got it to change, was in the infield.
You guys should have tried it the next lap because that would have changed them right back to, or done something.
Yeah. I don't remember why we didn't keep messing with it, but
Yeah, because I pulled into the pits. Oh, hold on. I pulled into. Sorry.
Yes, you did.
I pulled into the pits and I thought it was going to be like blue still or something, and I come in, they're off. So like it was a surprise to me.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Weird. It was fun to mess with, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, I had a lot of good times with it. Then Dalton was out there putting down the 5th fastest lap of the day consistently.
So consistent. I'm trying to count my 1 minute laps right now, and I had a 1 minute lap on Friday already, and then it's so many. Then so in the first 2 sessions, I've had 5 1 minute laps. On my last session, I think it was like 7 1 minute laps, and one of them was 1.00.069.
Just could not break that 1 minute barrier.
Nope. And it.
But it could have if you had the ACRs.
If I had the ACRs, or if I had an Apex or something, so I could have looked over my data more better. Because there's some places after I got home and watched my GoPro that I noticed I am being a bitch.
Me too, like the whole track.
The whole track. Track notes. Yep. You suck. That's
Coward.
what I got.
Coward.
After watching it, there's so much time on that banking, it's ridiculous. But
my
car bottoms out almost as bad as yours. Mine doesn't make sparks. It
sawdust.
Makes sawdust, and and the fender vents work really good. Track spec fender vents are the greatest because my splitter in the middle, it's right at the axle line, and it bottoms out there when it hit the bump, and it sucks all the smoke up and out my fender vents. The dust, smoke, and sawdust, and it comes in my window, and it just every time I hit that bump, I'm just like, got sawdust in my eyes and everything, and just it's great. But
it's cool to be able to, like, I mean, I know it's annoying, but it's kind of cool to see that stuff is functioning.
No, I was completely pumped when I saw this
stuff
because I didn't know where it was coming at the time because I was more worried about looking forward, and then you go back in the GoPro and you can see it too, and those frames, it just goes whoop, and it sucks it straight up and throws it way out, just good enough to get sucked in the window. So yeah, those fender vents are working, and actually the car was probably the best it's ever performed since I got that splitter redone, so it actually is not at a positive angle of attack, which is not what a splitter is supposed to be. So I got 9 Life Racing Sturdy Boys for a C5 that I made work of mine and got it angled down, and I got some splitter diffusers, and the front end has never been better.
Nice. Yeah, so it looked cool. Super consistent and smooth out there. Like
how's it drive, Robbie?
Oh yeah, I got to drive it. Which again, thanks Adam Jabay for letting me jump in on HPD's session. It drives great. Obviously, I was driving the Z all weekend, which is a lot slower. I was consistently doing like minute 10s in the Z, and I'm on 10-year-old RS3s. So I mean, all things considered, at least
10 years old.
The
one of them doesn't have a date code.
The one doesn't have a date code, and the date code that I did have was from 2010. But it's not
good, Robbie.
They still have half tread.
That doesn't mean they have any life left in them.
And they were free. And
it's time to let them go, Robbie.
Oh, absolutely. Because I took a picture and I looked at them when I got home too. It's just like they're perfectly fine for the street. Like I can't believe how good they still look. But yeah, there's no grip left in them at all.
RS4s are so cheap. You should just get some RS4s or something.
No, and honestly, I had no plans on taking this on track this year. So the fact that I took it to Gridlife the first time, and then the fact that I had a completely flawless weekend without any mechanical issues is way further ahead than I ever thought I'd be with this car this year. So I really can't.
Everyone's waiting to hear is how did you do compared to the fits?
I beat the fits because I shimmed the diff, so I was able to actually put power down. And so I was consistently doing minute 10s. The biggest issue was that I would push through every turn. I'd still slide really bad, like with the front end, so just like understeer like a motherfucker. So that was a problem. So I just I'd have to compensate for that, and obviously would lose time because of it. But I was able to make up a lot of time on the bank because I was able to get real aggressive with that. Whereas, like let's say I was going down the front straight, someone would be like let's just say 10 car lengths ahead of me, and we're doing pretty similar lap times. And then I would take the bank quite a bit faster than them, completely empty or minimize that gap by the time we even hit the bump, and then down the front straight, basically be on their ass the whole way. And then once we got to like the technical inside or the corners and stuff, where they could put their grip down because they have tires that aren't 10 years old, they would run away from me again, and then I'd bridge that gap over and over again on the banks. I mean, the car itself, great. Tires, worthless. So yeah, I was really, really happy with how I was able to attack the bank in that car for having no aero and the base model brakes and basically street compound tire pads. Because those rotors that are the rotors that Josh gave me that were rusty as hell. So like there's a lot that this car could do for not doing a lot to it and have it be a lot quicker. So yeah, all things considered, the only issue I had was the valve. Like I went to check my tire pressures before I went out my Saturday session, and one of the valve stems like just broke, like the spring broke in it. So it just kept letting air out. So I had to go steal a valve from Eric's spare tires, which is really
such
weird.
a weird thing.
I've never had that happen before.
Terribly weird thing.
Yeah, because like I went and checked it. I was like, okay, pressure's where I want it. And all of a sudden I pull the stick out, and it's just, what the fuck? Hold it there. Eric, come hold this. So then I quick go and steal one of his, and then I have to go and then our air pressure tank is lower than the tire. So I'm actually filling the air pressure tank with the tires. So I had to go find my buddy that runs Midiv with us. It's go steal his air compressor. But yeah, I mean, all things considered, I had a pretty flawless weekend when it came to mechanicals.
I have an air compressor in my trailer if you ever bothered to ask Robbie.
You were busy fixing other things on your car, so I didn't have time to ask you.
Door's always open.
That's because it's so cold that everyone's complaining. But anyways, yeah, so I got totally sidetracked. So I drove the Z. Yeah, I was really happy with how I drove it and how mechanically sound it was all weekend. I haven't had a chance to dive into figure out why. Like, I mean, it drove great, but when I would go down like the front straight at full throttle, my check engine light would blink at me, but it ran perfectly fine. Like, it wasn't misfiring. So like I need to go and look at the codes and kind of figure out why, see if I can kind of dive into why it was doing that. Which is, I don't know, it was just weird. And then, so then Sunday morning, you let me take your vet out. Because it basically a Saturday night shit talking when you were drunk led to you saying, well, why don't you just take it out then? And that really worked out for me because
I could have let you take it out any time. I really don't care.
No, it was funnier to shit talk you, get you all worked up, and have you suggest it.
Was it because you thought you could drive it faster than me or beat 1 minute or something?
Yeah, the joke was that I was going to go out on my first session and do a sub-minute lap, which of course wasn't going to happen. But it was funnier because you believed it or you were like, well, if you get within 5 seconds of my time, I'll do whatever, and you're all drunk and mad about it.
I don't get drunk.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yep. So Sunday morning, I go and grab Jabba. I was like, hey, Dalton said I could drive his Corvette. Do you mind if I jump on one of these quiet HPD sessions? And he said, yeah, no problem. So we go in the first one, and there's like 2 cars lined up, including me. So I go out and do some clean laps, and as the session goes, more cars are coming up, and I'm getting a little comfortable with your car. I'm not going to push it because the last thing I want to do is stuff this into a wall. It's not my car. I've already accomplished my goal of finishing the season with both of my cars in good condition that I don't have to fix anything. So I was like, I'm not going to go into the end of the season and have to fix someone else's car. So I drove it semi-aggressively, but not any sort of real risk. And I was able to, like on lap 11, I was able to get down to like a minute 3 something.
Which it was lap 11.
Yeah, it's always the last lap. Minute 3-2. A minute 3-2. So, I mean, for being the first time driving your car on that track, I was pretty happy doing a minute 3. And then
first time driving it ever, correct?
Yeah, I've never driven your car.
I'd say being within 3 seconds of the owner's time is pretty respectable, especially at a track with a lot of walls.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that track is basically just walls.
Yeah,
it is 100%. If you go off anywhere, it's walls.
Yeah.
And I don't get the red mist like a lot of people do when it comes to someone else's car. I'm super paranoid about wrecking someone else's shit. So
I
like
you should say red mist in general, because I do not get red mist.
Not like that, no. So like, I mean, we go out there and you go, and you do, but we go out there and you're kind of telling me like, keep an eye on the oil temps. And so I'm kind of being aware of it. And I was like, well, I don't want to overheat your car because you're going to go out and do a time attack session with it. So we go out there and I make anytime I'm over 230, 240 with oil temps, I get really paranoid in my car. And you're like, I see 270 all the time. Okay, great. I go out and I do the full session. And by lap 11, more cars are coming into the HPD session. And I'm catching people. I'm in traffic a little bit. And I don't want to ruin their sessions because I'm being selfish. So I've clearly been out there almost the entire session. So I come in. I'm like, okay, shit. I wasn't really paying attention to the oil temps, but I also wasn't pushing too hard. I look down, 226.
That's like 2 laps for me.
Barely even up to temp. I'm like, oh, well, at least I know I didn't overdrive his car. So, I mean, doing a minute 3 without even hardly getting your car hot, I felt pretty good about that. But yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly respectable.
Yeah, that's very respectable.
It was fun. And yeah, I mean, there's shit, like I wasn't attacking the bank in your ar like I was with mine because, again, I'm so used to not having any grip with tires. Like I wasn't using your grip at all. But it was fun. It drives similar to the 240, obviously, because of the LS, but much faster and much better grip. But it was a lot of fun, and I appreciated Jabe letting me jump in. And I tried to be really cognizant of the fact that I was not in one of my sessions that I was paying for. So as soon as I started basically getting point buys every lap, I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking up other people's laps. I'm out of here.
Can't believe you're giving point buys in that, man.
I was
giving point buys.
No. I was getting point buys. I was catching people.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
I was catching people and ruining their laps because they would let me by. So once I passed 2 people in one lap, I'm like, yeah, you're being an asshole. Get out. So hopefully no one complained about the orange Corvette in their HPDE session. Just burn it.
It's advanced HPDE. It's fine.
Was it advanced first or was it beginner?
Oh, you definitely didn't go out there with beginner.
I can't remember. I think it was whatever the first session was because there was only
it was advanced.
It was advanced.
I think it was advanced too.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Jabe wouldn't let you out there with beginner.
I would hope not.
That would have been a shit show.
No, it was. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking intermediate, but yeah, it was the first session of the day, and it was when it started. It was just me and this other car, and then as the session got towards the end, everyone kind of caught up to coming out and getting their cars on track. So it was closer to a full session by the time it was over. But the only thing that went wrong was that I burned my elbow on your silly exhaust next to your tunnel. Because I don't know why you feel it needs to be that fucking hot. I
also feel the need of, if you're running a car with a full cage, why don't you wear a fire suit?
Because if I crash your car, I don't want to survive it. If it was my car, I'd want to survive it because I could face myself. I can't face you if I wreck your car.
And he wouldn't have to pay for it this way.
Exactly.
Well, more than likely, with the amount of times it's been a fire, it's not even going to be your fault. It's going to be my fault or my mechanic's fault, so...
Yeah, well, you
don't want to live if that starts on fire.
Well, it was actually a surprise that it even made it to Sunday because you had all sorts of really weird issues.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. So we're going to go back and...
Yeah, let's take a step back here.
So we'll go back to Friday out there with my ACRs. And like my second session, I was doing 1 minute laps already with my ACRs, of course, which I counted out my 1 minute laps. I have 16 1 minute, 100 laps. 16. I could not get into fucking 59s. ACRs feel great, everything, even though the 295 fronts really bother me for trail braking. It just really kills it when you have 355s to 295s up front. But I do have my ABS now working, which was phenomenal for that, because before at Hallett and Heartland Park, if you are braking at all and turn in, it'll just lock up the front tires and just you're going straight.
No, that's your fault.
Well, it's my fault, but also it's so much nicer having ABS. So get those on, run a 1 minute laps, and then there's a drip tray in my hatch around the back that has like a nice area just to set stuff like beer cans or razor blades, I guess. And it's weird. Drip trays have drains because, that's what they're there for. So somehow just a utility knife blade went down the drip tray, got in my wheel well, and weirdly enough, the ACRs in the back are massively tall, which actually helped a lot in the first straight of the infield, because with the rivals, I just bounced the rev limiter for like a second gear and just beat the fuck out of that LS7. With the ACRs, I probably gained 5 miles an hour there, and it doesn't hit the rev limiter. They're that much taller. But being so much taller, under compression over that bump, go over the bump on my second time out with the ACRs, and it just hits it, and all of a sudden I just hear just like, what the fuck? So I go around, and then any time I'm on a left-hand corner, something's making noise. Pull in, quickly notice my new splitter, its side mounts to the side, because I could hear it was on the right side. I just didn't know where. Pulled out a rib nut in my frame. So luckily, Robbie had a whole bolt assortment that was big enough to get rid of the rib nuts, and I drilled all the way through my frame and bolted it there. So
is that what you did? Just drill all the way through and nut and bolt top and bottom?
Yeah, that thing is going nowhere.
Perfect.
Definitely.
Did you do that on both sides then?
No, just one side.
He'll wait till the other side breaks.
Yeah. I'll probably do the other side too. Okay. It's just on the side of the track, and you have...
No, you won't.
You don't know that? You're probably right. But I thought my splitter was hitting around the corners just because it was flexing. So go do that, and then go out again, do one lap, and it's making the same noise again. So I have to pull in and look, and I'm like, what the hell is on the side? Jack up that side and pull the tires off, and the whole wheel liner on the passenger rear is destroyed. In that time, you pull off the tire, there's a utility blade just wedged in my wheel well, and going around the side of the tire. I don't know if you have a picture of that.
I didn't take a picture of it.
The razor blade was actually burnt up black for a good quarter of it. Like, it overheated like crazy. And then there's a gash down to the cords on that rear tire, which sucks because those tires are so much better than the rivals.
And they had so much life left in them.
So much. Well, I don't even.
Well, for me, that would have been like 2 full seasons of tread.
Robbie, do you want some 355s?
No. Yes.
355s. That's all 355s against my back wall.
What size?
355 by 19s.
Who runs 19s? Nobody runs 19s.
Everybody who wants to run ACRs.
Everyone that wants to run ACRs.
Give me some
18s.
Everybody. I got.
They don't make a 355 18.
Yes, they do. Somebody does.
I don't think
Somebody
they do.
does.
Hoosier does.
No, I don't think. Didn't that Countach have a stupid like tire like that big? It wasn't that big back in the day, though, was it?
It's a 15.
That's what I'm saying. It was a super wide, obnoxious 15. Like,
yeah, it's like a 15 by 12, and I don't remember what. I think it's like a 305 though, which is still ridiculous, but it's no 355. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the worst part about this is I have all these tires in here, and I didn't throw another one in the trailer. And legitimately, the people parked next to us have a goddamn tire machine. Like, I could have just been like, throw an ACR in here. So I got stuck running my rivals the rest of the weekend, and nothing wrong with Rival S 1.5s, but after you drive on the Kumo ACRs,
that's all you want to drive on is the ACRs.
Yeah, and the problem is it's even dumber. Yeah, just those Rivals had 1 weekend on them, and their heat cycle, the tire rack before this, or 2 weekends before this, and they're only a year-old date code. They're 19 date codes. All my ACRs are 16 date codes, and they are still fucking faster.
That sounds right.
My Rivals are 335s and 315s, and the ACRs are 295s and 355s, and those ACRs are just killer.
Jeez.
So what sparked him wanting to switch to the ACRs at the event was because you have 16 date codes, right?
Yeah, 16 date codes. Oh,
so we were talking to Ferris, who obviously is running ACRs on his as well. That crazy track mod Corvette, for those of you that don't know, twin turbo monster, the fastest car there this weekend.
56.6.
Yes. So he runs ACRs on Kumo ACRs on his car, and we're over there talking to him, and he's consistently the fastest guy in track mod at every event this year. He's absolutely crushed and dominated every event. He's set track records everywhere he goes. We kind of just assume he's on stickers most of the time. right? Because that
makes sense.
what you assume, right? So we're talking to him, and Dalton's like, yeah, I have these ACRs that I bought from Jeremy Swenson, but they're 16 codes, and I don't really want to switch to them because I'm not sure they'll be any faster. And Ferris points at his cars and goes, yeah, those are 16s and those are 17s on the front. I bought them from Luke McGrew when he took them off of his Viper, and Dalton's like, fuck. So I guess we're gonna put those on my car then too, huh? Like, yep, let's go do it. So
worth it for one session until I fucked them up.
It was kind of funny that it was like, this guy's like, this guy who you assume is running like new tires all the time, is spending the money that's required to win, and it turns out that he's kind of the same as the rest of us. He's still running on somebody else's takeoffs, and he's putting in the work with them. So, yeah, it was kind of funny though.
That's crazy. I never would have guessed that.
No, I never would have.
No, we would have. I was completely floored when we walk over yeah, these are 5 years old or 4 years old too. Like, no fucking way. Look at the date codes. Like,
yep.
I know that Ferris gets a lot done with less budget than you might think he's using. I mean, I'm sure it's not a small amount of money, but he's very, very smart about where he spends his money. I know that. But I figured that some of that included at least newer tires and not somebody's $200 takeoffs. So,
well, like the funny part is I would figure at least the front tires would be somewhat new because the front ACRs are like $150 a piece. They're actually completely reasonable. The 355s are not. But I figured, if you're going to take this seriously, what's $300 every a couple times a year for front tires for someone of that caliber? But I guess if you're winning by seconds, does it matter?
Not anymore.
I think it's funny that, like, I'm surprised I don't see more people running that 295 square because that's cheap.
That's not bad at all.
Oh, it's stupid cheap. And I was going to try to run that in the Camaro. I bought some Corvette wheel takeoffs, but my Camaro likes wide body fitment. I got a narrow body fitment and didn't clear my brakes. So I sold those to Jones. So we'll figure out how those work in a 295 square setup for his Corvette at some point.
Cool.
Kind of be interesting because I'm kind of surprised no one does it either because they're ridiculous tires.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think there's really a lot else we need to cover, is there?
No, I mean it was cool to watch the drifting and the trophy truck jump the drift cars. I mean, I hadn't watched drifting at all this year, so it was refreshing to kind of feel normal to be at a Gridlife and watch drifters doing crazy shit. And the night GLTC races were fun. Still a little mind blowing that people went out there without headlights.
That got fixed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We don't need to get into it too bad, but it just baffled me that people were willing to go on track after 9 o'clock without headlights. I mean, because it's not lit up at all in a way that you can see.
I mean, the track is lit, but it is not lit enough that I think there can be cars out there without headlights on it.
No, I wouldn't have ran for sure. But what was that Friday night that they did that? Saturday, everybody had the headlights. So I mean, it didn't take long to realize how necessary it was. The racer in me loves the fact that half of them are running underglow, and the drifters are all running underglow. And
Tomo really had his car lit up.
He really did. Like the interior was lit up. He had lights on the top, along the door sill, and then underglow everywhere. I mean, it was. I think I got a picture. It was super fun. Maybe I don't.
Yeah,
not important.
So, drifting was cool. Von Gittin and his band of merry men, they brought it's not a trophy truck, it was something else, Pro 4 maybe, slightly smaller than a trophy truck.
It's almost like a stadium super truck.
Yeah, maybe they brought that thing and some ramps, and they had whatever that guy who I can't remember what his name is. I kind of feel bad about it, but the driver for that vehicle, and he was out there just. I mean, he was running full drift laps with this all-wheel drive stadium truck, essentially. And then he was jumping over drift trains off of a ramp with it. And, like, they were getting wild with it. That was really cool to watch.
I was so impressed when they would go and, like, I mean, again, it's like 10 o'clock at night. dark. I mean, it's lit up and there's lasers and whatnot. So I mean, you can kind of see, but like you get the drift train coming from what would be the furthest away spot, and then drifting in front of the ramp. I can't believe that they didn't screw that up. Just because, I mean, in the dark, it'd be so hard to see because it's not like the ramp had lights on it, and it was kind of in the center of everything, so it wasn't in a spot where you could really see it. But they lined it up perfectly, jumped them in the dark. It was all good. And for being a night session drift where everyone's like, this year's been really weird because it seems like people aren't getting out and doing motorsport as much. So when they do it, I feel like they push it further than they need to, or further than they're capable of at the time. So it just seems like this is the year where people break shit. And for being that, and it's just kind of an observation I've made this year, but the drifting was so clean.
I don't know what it is about there, if it's just the way the track is or what, but last year it was flawless session after session after session. Like, I mean, we even had sessions where they didn't even have to go out and pick up a single bumper, which is not a thing when we go to like Gingerman.
No, they fill an entire pickup bed with body parts.
I think part of that is because those guys come off of they come off the front straight and into that. I think they're trying to do like triple digit entries into that first corner, and those guys the amateur guys are just blowing that. They're not, they're just not there first try like the pro guys.
You're talking Gingerman, right? Yeah,
Gingerman. And then you go to a place like PPIR where they're not, they're starting from a standing start. They're doing a small loop, and the speeds aren't as high for initiation. And I think the way that the track is set up just kind of accidentally allows for cleaner drifting sessions.
Yeah,
less chaos.
I can't remember who made the comment, but it was just like, at Gingerman, you have a bunch of guys that are really good drifters that never drift on a real track, or like a full size track like Gingerman.
Yeah,
like so you get guys that are really capable, but then you throw them onto like turn one at Gingerman. That's nothing like you would do in any sort of a flat track or a parking lot. So you can see why people would make mistakes there. But then you get a PPIR, that's kind of more of closer to like a parking
formula drift.
Yeah, like a parking lot setup. So like the amateur guys are going to make less mistakes, and the pro guys are going to have no problem.
Right.
So that's why I've always pushed for like the guys that run like Luke Stilley or the guys that are local to us that run at tracks almost exclusively. I think that they need to push to be at Gridlife at Gingerman because that's where those guys would shine. So if you're listening to me, please go to Gingerman and do some drifting. You guys are more than capable.
I know Luke has tried and just didn't make it through the
application process.
The application process because, I'm sure that is an event that everybody wants to be a part of in the drifting community just as much as it is in the time attack community, and it's short of impossible to get a slot there.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's no different for drifting.
No, I would agree.
Yeah, time attack. I pretty much got told by Jabay. Pretty much, if you want a time attack there, you got to be a gold member.
Yeah, you have to, or you have to like. The few spots that are filled up by non-gold pass guys, like, flat out they're cars that are high profile,
Well, he's like 3 or 4 cars weren't gold passes. So even then, like you said, high profile or gold pass.
It's kind of cool that event has gotten to that point, and it's also kind of a bummer. So, but yeah. Overall, good weekend.
Yep.
Ton of fun, as always. Even despite the world trying to come to an end, the guys at Gridlife seem to figure out how to get it done. So,
yeah, it was
I've gone back and watched a little bit of the live streams, and they were great. It was fun to watch. Just blows my mind how good those camera guys can be. How
professional
put together that is. I mean, there's a reason they shot Ken Block's videos.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm always impressed with it. Yeah, it was a super fun event. Scope creep happened to the Z as soon as I got home, so thanks for that.
What happened to the Z now?
The interior is completely gutted because it's getting a cage.
Yes.
And here we are.
I drove home. parked it, didn't touch it, and the first thing I did when I finally did touch it was strip the entire interior, and now it's going over to factory fabrication for a cage.
You still have your snakeskin A-pillars, though. Those had to stay.
They're coming out, but yeah, they're in there for. They're currently,
Come on, bro.
They're currently still in there, but they're coming out.
Can you wrap your
part of the cage
forward bars that way at least?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be super easy.
That's what's happening.
I could do that.
At least wrap the down bars in front. That way it's still like, I know it's not the A pillar, but it's kind of the A pillar.
It was the A-pillar for a year. It's part of the car now.
That's fine. I could do snake skin everything or alligator skin everything.
That would be pretty dope.
Alligator skin the whole cage.
No, what I should do is alligator skin the dash.
Hell yeah.
That'd be super easy to do.
Well, it minimizes glare. That's important.
That is important because that's a real problem with the stock Z dash. That gray, glary as hell.
Oh, for sure.
But it was funny because I text Booney. I'm like, hey, you guys want to do a cage? Yeah, drop it off. Oh, you mean like right now? Okay.
Yeah, what are you waiting on?
I'll get started. So yeah, last night I stripped most of the interior. I'll finish today. But realistically, I'll probably drop it off over at Booney once his season's over at the end of September, and then get to it. So my plan would be to build it for GLTC, use the next season to get comfortable with wheel-to-wheel racing within the endurance team in the Porsche, and then use next year to get it sorted, with 2022 being a realistic goal. So we'll see.
Right. You have like 6 months. I don't know why you can't hit 2021. And it's already going off to get the cage built. So let's just be realistic here.
Well, I'm thinking from like, how the hell am I going to have time for all this? Because I'm still
Robbie's 2021 is going to be insane. A little on the busy side.
Yeah, look, I'm actually lucky that Jess is in school and working as much as she is, because she won't notice that I'm gone as much as I'm going to be. I think the plan is to do 3 endurance race weekends with Missed Apex with the Porsche. I assume I'm going to go to some grid lives, and I have to run the entire mid-iv season. Either, even if I'm not running it, or running a car in it, I need to be there because I'm the director.
And one lap.
So
Robbie's going to be at a racetrack every freaking weekend.
So it's not that I don't want to have the Z ready. It's that realistically, I don't think it's possible, even if it is ready, to do everything that I want to do and be able to financially afford it. So the Z's going to
you have friends that don't live too far away that could come help you out with these cars.
I don't need help with the cars. I need help with the money.
He needs help with the entry fee.
I need money. It has nothing to do with the prep. I can get the prep done.
He can either build the car and not afford to race, or he can afford to race, but he won't have the car built to race it. It's that situation.
That, and I need more experience.
We all can relate with.
Yep, I need more experience. So like, if I scramble to get the Z ready, but don't have the experience to just like to be in GLTC, it's kind of stupid. So I need to put the money where it needs to go, where I can get the experience to be on track. So endurance racing will give me that experience.
Yeah. How long are we into this for? Do we want to keep going, or do we just call this a day?
Dalton's got some stories to tell.
I know. I didn't know if we wanted to lay it out there.
Yes, we do.
Oh, I don't give a fuck.
All right. Well,
I'll talk about all my stupidity.
Let's make it kind of quick then. All right.
I'm always quick at them.
That's what the girls tell us.
Well, obviously, we're going to move on to find anyone else after they're done with that patheticness. But continuing on.
So what happened, man?
Oh, I talked about that red mist earlier. So had a track day. Was that last weekend already?
Yeah. A week ago tomorrow. A week ago when this show comes out.
Yep. And just RPM. Super safe track, honestly. And then
literally nothing to hit.
That's what you think, Robbie. It turns out there's at least one thing to hit.
Yeah. So either way, we were just kind of, it was me, my Corvette, and then Ryan Siley brought down his S2000. A couple people from Sheldon brought down their cars too. And going out there, and we just left the Solo and the Camaro, and we were trying to do fastest lap of the day in the Camaro because it's a warranty Camaro. What's the worst that happens? My sponsor, GM Warranties, got me covered if we blow anything up, right? So, kind of getting late in the day and getting hot, and somehow I was like a tenth a second off of someone else's time, but all of a sudden I would watch the Solo, and I'm like a second and a half up on that, like. All of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I pulled out of my ass for this lap. And the last chicane, going, I don't know my corner numbers at RPM, and I should, but
can't remember.
last chicane, I was all day like, I can take this thing flat out. Like, I could just go flat out, and I got this.
No.
So go around it, and it's got a big curb on the right. So I just eat that curb, and it probably the worst I ate that curb all day. And like, fuck it, still going flat out, and I go around to go left. Ass end kicks out just a little bit, and I'm like, at that time, I like thought it over in that millisecond, like, I can let off, I got this, but I'm like, no, I want to fucking take this flat out because I'm a fucking idiot. And hold it flat out, starts coming back, and then all of a sudden it just whips around the other way, of course, and just sends me right off track. Nothing I could do instantly. And
so
I just like,
that's 12 and 13.
Yep.
12 and 13. I don't know exactly how
right
fast
before
I was
the front
going,
straight.
but
Yep.
with that car, I was in third flat from around 11 all the way down that straight
Into 14.
Yep.
into 14. So then all the way flat, and then once I came around the left of the chicane, I'm assuming I was high into third, like it was booking it. So in a V6 Camaro, of course, not my Corvette. I don't know if we went over that. I did go over because we were talking about that fastest laps in the Camaro. So then spin around. I just look over my shoulder. I'm like, fuck. Because I'm just going straight to the fucking corner station. Nothing I could do, and just hit the front end, fucking whip me around, and blew all the bags, of course, which is by far the worst of the whole situation. And you're going to talk disorientating. You're just looking over your shoulder like, fuck, and you hit and just like, boom, and it blew curtain airbag, steering wheel bag, knee bag, and my passenger seat bag, but not the driver's seat bag for whatever reason.
Oh, weird.
And so you just get in an accident, and then you don't see nothing. It's just smoky as fuck and just pink airbags everywhere. And just like, fuck. No one else is on track, and it's a track rental day, so there's no corner workers. So you're like, did anyone even know? But someone was there.
Oh,
like
we knew. 30,
40 seconds, and they knew right away. And the flatbed was out of I don't know why they didn't have their flatbed or truck there. So
because it's a test day.
Yep. So it's supposed to be HPD, and you're not supposed to fucking go balls out for no reason on your car. But actually brought the stacker back there and just
like winched it on.
So Ryan's like, winch doesn't work. Like, but it actually drove. It wouldn't start for whatever reason, but all you had to do, because it did the fuel cutoff. I thought I turned it off and on. It wasn't going, but Josh hopped in and started right up. And I'm like, that time I knew a control arm on my passenger side was broken. I'm like, well, we can see what it does. And it fucking just drove right up on the lift, and out we were until I get home and go to get it off, because it has two lower control arms, not an A arm or anything. So it broke the rear one. So once you go reverse, it just wedged the wheel out and into the side of the trailer. Like, fuck. So I just, luckily enough, it was right in a doorway. So just yesterday I got the A arm in and our control arm and jacked it up right there, and got a new one on and got it backed out yesterday. So now just to start tearing into it, I guess.
So this is your daily driver. So we're clear.
Rephrase that.
Was your daily
was
driver.
My daily driver.
Your warranted 2019 Camaro daily driver.
It'll be my daily driver again soon enough, and it's not too terrible. I will get it in the garage soon enough and start ripping it apart enough to get it back on the road, because even though, trust me, I love driving a high country, I hate daily in trucks. I want a manual back in my life, and I want a fun,
especially a 1-ton dually.
Oh, it'll be awful.
It barely fits in parking spots. That's where the surround view cameras work really great, because like you got like this much on the yellow lines when you if you're perfect on each side. So
oh man, well, we were giving you such shit when we took it to the gas station to take a shower. Is how rough the ride was. So, I mean, it's not exactly great for driving without a trailer or to and from work.
No, it's not great at all for that. Not like, no, honestly, it's not like the Camaro ride's much better than it. If we're being honest here, it's just way more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And better mileage.
Yeah, and you can justify it. You're like, well, yeah, it's a Camaro track pack. It's fun. So you was. So you have airbags that need to be replaced, mirror, body damage on
fender, bumper,
front bumper, headlight, control arm, bumper, hood.
The rear quarter's got some wrinkles in it. The door's got some wrinkles in it.
The
door's cheap. The door's only a couple $100, honestly. The
whole door?
Yeah, the whole door. You can buy them off eBay cheap as fuck. Like shit for that. But
that's hilarious.
I'm pretty sure you can get a door scan.
Like if I wanted to buy a door for my Omni, I bet it would cost me more to get one in good shape than it will for Dalton to buy a Camaro door for his brand new car.
Oh, for sure.
The biggest problem is that rear quarter is gonna be a fucking pain in the ass because that wraps all the way up the seat A pillar, just all the way over. And most cars have that trim piece that goes between the roof skin and the A pillar and B, the whole.
Oh yeah, no, yours is like all one piece.
It's all one piece, and it's like it's painted the whole thing. So
yeah,
I don't know what it's gonna be a fucking pain in the ass because it's all painted at once. So technically, you're gonna have to paint that whole rear half of the car. May not paint. You're gonna have to clear coat that the roof skin, the pillars, and all the way to the back other quarter.
You better hope that the frame's still straight and all that stuff.
Well, he's got a frame rack, so he can check that.
No big deal. Why do you have a frame rack, Dalton?
For this?
Maybe I like hitting shit.
Because I'm an idiot. That's why.
That's why.
Is your orange? Does it have like a tri-coat pearl in it, or is it just orange?
No, it's just straight.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it had some sort of an extra flair to it.
And I think the main problem here is I overdrive the fuck out of my Camaro, by the way, because I think I'm so used to. Well, not even before that. Like I drive the living shit out of it because it's a V6 Camaro and I drive a aeroed out C6 Z06, and I actually think the 500 horsepower Corvette is more controllable and more maintainable, and maybe I respect it a little more too.
Probably. Well, even the way you talk about it right now, you're like, it's just a V6 Camaro, like as if it's like a little Miata. Yeah, foot to the floor. Fuck it.
Talk to anyone.
What's it make, like 300 horse?
Yeah, it's not
335.
Yeah, it's not pedestrian by any means. It's a quick car.
Probably as fast in a straight line as either of Robbie's cars.
Oh, for sure. It's got more horsepower than both my cars. I suppose
the 240 probably weighs quite a bit less, so it might be. They might be similar, but
Robbie?
What was the green Camaro? I guess that was a V8, but that was even just all you had to do was put slicks on it. It was just as fast as the 240.
Yeah, that was stupid fast with the slicks, honestly. In his first real track day, he had the training day and the track day, and then he was at Hallett doing like the same times as Robbie.
Yeah, granted, it's 100 more horse.
My phone just turned on.
Jeez,
it's been plugged in this whole time. It's finally turned on.
What in the fuck?
So you got 100 horse more than the Z.
100 horse more than the Z. It's the same crank horse as the Z.
No way.
The Z's wheel horse is like 240, maybe.
What did the Z's come from the factory? I thought they were 300.
No,
the 370s are.
Yeah, mine. I expect to dyno at 240, roughly.
I probably expect 280, 290 out of the Camaro. That's not.
Oh, okay.
That's because it's 335 crank. I don't think it's going to do.
I thought you were talking wheel. My bad. We're good.
I wish there's. No, I don't wish there's. Maybe I'd respect if there's 335 wheel.
It's so quick though.
Maybe I just need to put those ACRs because I can fit 355s in the fender wells, in the fenders of the Camaro without pokes. So maybe I just need to do full ACRs and everything.
Yeah,
ain't going to be having the rear end brake loose with 355s.
Yeah, there you go. That's your problem is that you're on these Miata size RS4s.
You need at least a millimeter per horsepower putting down to the rear wheels.
Now, just imagine if those tires had 9 more years of life on them. I'm still really proud of the time I put down on the shitty tires I had.
Oh no, it's amazing what you're putting down on non-date coded RS3s.
Oh my god. I posted on the group or on Instagram like, I bet I'm the only one running RS3s. And then James texts me, goes, seriously, dude, how like are those even safe?
No,
they probably aren't anymore.
No, they're like
probably better than my tires with no air in them.
They're 5
razor
years,
blades in them.
Yeah, they're 5.
I can't.
They're 5 years past their life. And then Dusty had me go and check. I'm like, yep, sure enough, they're 2010 date code. They're like brand new. There's like no wear. Oh well.
I can't believe like even those RS4s in the Camaro, like
It's like
I have multiple track days on them, and
they look brand new.
they just don't give a fuck. They just keep on going.
It's a great endurance tire
of choice for a lot of guys.
Yep.
And they're not terribly slow. I mean, they're well off like a
full second. Yeah, they're at least a full
but
second off. But I mean, if you're doing endurance, if you don't have to mess around with tires, it's worth it. But
if you're doing endurance or HPDs or running into walls or whatever, it works great.
Yeah, it's a great tire to put the red mist on and slide into a corner station.
Both passenger side tires are holding air still, so they're better than ACRs at holding air for me.
Perfect. And you don't have to replace those, so that's nice. That'll save you some money.
Rims are probably bent, though.
So Apexes are cheap, too.
One of those rims is for sure bent.
Nah.
How'd you hit it? Did you hit it on the corner and then whip around, or did you hit it square?
I hit it in my front right's the first thing to hit, but I kind of let me think of I was looking over my shoulder when I hit it, and I was definitely main impact was a side impact, but
it looks like it definitely hit right at the fender first. I would be surprised if that tire's not bent, because if it broke the control arm, that force.
I think it's because I was going backwards too, so I think it caught it and just.
Oh yeah, no, I'd definitely put that tire on a balancer before you did anything. The other ones are probably fine.
It's going to have to get unseated. There's a lot of grass and dirt in that bead, a lot of it.
So what's your plan? Is this going to be a daily driver, or is this your second caged car?
Well, it depends.
We're actively trying to keep him from caging it.
They're bad influence.
You should probably not cage your 2019 street or daily driver.
He just needs. I get fixing it, and like maybe if there's some parts that you have to replace that you could put better parts on than their place, that's fine too.
Yep.
And like I'm not even opposed to you putting a roll bar in the back seat, because it's not like you're putting people back there, so who cares?
That's not true. You put me back there every track day he takes it to.
Well, he won't be anymore because you guys will just take the high country.
No, we didn't do it at Topeka because Josh blew it up before we could. That was our plan for our grocery getter while we were at the track.
Yeah, it's your warranted Camaro.
So convenient.
But I can support putting a roll bar in the back seat or whatever. Yep. Like that's fine, but don't fucking cage it.
My only reason I would even fucking consider it is because those Recaro seat, the passenger seat is going to be so expensive to fix that it'd be cheaper to buy fixed back seats.
Yeah, those are not cheap seats.
I could easily buy carbon fiber bridge motos, and it'd be cheaper than buying that one passenger seat.
But would you want to daily that then?
I don't know.
I mean, like the Coro that I have in my Omni, I think is probably one of the most comfortable seats I have, and it wouldn't bother me. But like, I don't know. Just make sure you don't ruin the daily drivability of the car. You're going to end up buying yet another vehicle, and you don't need that.
He's already got a daily driver in his locomotive. I mean, his high country.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to see. There might be.
Did you
plan to see if someone can stitch it up and put a new airbag in it for a few $100s?
Because he really, really, really likes that car.
I know he does.
I think he might like that car more than his Vet.
Oh, it's a great daily driver and a great track car, and it's so fucking cheap.
Because we've already tried to dude, just sell the damn thing, and he has no interest in that.
No,
I love it. It's a great car.
Have you looked into what track insurance costs?
Too much.
This fucking insurance guy's probably going to cover him anyway because he's Dalton, and I hate him.
I fucking straight up.
Things fall your way.
I told the insurance company I wasn't going to say this on. This is the one thing I wasn't, but we're here. I called him up. I'm like, hey, I need to drop the Camaro to comp. I ran into a tire wall at the racetrack. You're not going to cover. He's like, well, what are we going to tell him you hit? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. He was completely like, yeah, we're going to say hit a guardrail. Let's fucking go for it. I'm like, no, I don't want to get you in trouble. I need insurance. I got stupid fucking $70,000 truck. I got, 4 houses, going to be 5 here soon enough. I need to insure. If I get hit with tax fraud or insurance fraud,
yeah, you don't want
I'm going to lose all my extra money. I won't be able to have rentals, and I'll be fucking scraping by just paying insurance on anything nice. I'm like, I can't fucking risk it. He's like, well, and I mentioned it wasn't an actual race. It was just for fun. It was a track day. I was on the racetrack, but it was on fun. There was no timing. It wasn't a competition. He's like, well, it sounds like you were just having fun and spun out. That's what I'll tell him. just give me a quote. And I'm like, okay, well, it's stuck in the trailer right now. So Monday I'm going to go get a quote on it, I guess, and see what. I'm still not too optimistic it'll happen, but if they do pay for it, I can paint stuff myself and everything, but I really want to quit dailying the truck. And I have a rental I am remodeling right now because a fucking meth had destroyed it. So I have different priorities. So if I can drop that off at the shop and get it painted, and then I'll do the bags and the headliner and all that shit myself, I will save that extra cash there. But I want to get back driving my Camaro. I fucking hate driving pickups. I don't get why all of Iowa and Robbie likes driving pickups.
Driving pickups is fine.
Driving a half ton and driving a 1 ton is two dramatically different things.
Apples and oranges.
I hopped on my dad's 6.2 after I've been driving mine all week, and just why is this truck so short? Why is it so why
is it so quiet and comfortable? And
it was hooked up to a dump trailer. It was not quiet or comfortable. Because
why are you hauling things around with that truck when you have the locomotive?
Because my dad has a daily driver that he doesn't run into tire walls. So this is out front, hooked up the dump trailer to get rid of fucking 5 loads of trash from this fucking rental house.
Oh my gosh. You slum mode.
That's a whole saga we don't want to get into on the podcast. But it's hilarious.
So that's why that was there. So that's
Dalton needs to start his own Iowa Man YouTube channel.
No kidding.
Podcast thing. I don't know what he needs to do, but it would be the best.
I think my dad needs to. My dad's way worse. way, way worse.
I would read Terry Klein's autobiography for sure.
He's never going to write it. I mean,
no, God no. But I would totally read it.
He thought one of the guys that lived in his house last week went brain dead, and he got life-flighted to Sioux Falls, and he showed up yesterday moving back in. You haven't paid in fucking 3 years. You are not moving back in. Get the fuck out of here.
Jeez.
You got home at 2 a.m. He's just in his yard mumbling gibberish and fucking out of his mind. Oh, what a great life.
The joys of owning rentals.
Oh, that's my dad's house because he has a fucking 9-bedroom house. He lets people move in for $200 a month. That's his own problem.
Oh, yeah, that's a separate problem.
The joys of owning rentals are not great. That's a whole different saga. Yeah, you're not wrong. But you win some, you lose some. Yep. This one I definitely lost.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that actually, I don't know how I feel about this because if things just work out for you in this Camaro, I'm going to hate you again. But
yeah, right.
But at the same time, I do hope it does just kind of work out for you because the last thing I want to see is you be completely effed on this car.
Oh, I won't be effed regardless. I mean, seriously, if it really comes down to it, you have to accept the fact that if you're going to race it, it's not if, it's when you crash it.
You're going to wreck it, or at least
you're going to wreck it. Even if it is your daily, you got to accept that fact and
even
have a backup plan. It
wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't the freaking airbags. I mean, because it's the body damage is not great, but it's not detrimental.
I honestly could probably for $1,000 get enough body parts and stuff on the car to drive it and
for sure
be safe. But the airbags are definitely the expensive part.
Yeah,
but
that's a game changer, and the fact that the seat includes heated and cooled seats, your butt massager and your airbags and all this extra bullshit that you have in there. So yeah,
it says Recaro on it,
and they're very expensive.
The Recaro is the biggest problem.
That adds 30% to the cost right there.
Yeah. So yeah, he's not wrong.
Probably find a wrecked base model Camaro seat pretty reasonably, but the Recaros really only come in the 1LEs and the SS1LEs and above, or the 1LE V6 is the only way you can option them out in a base SS, but I don't think many people are doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
But fact of the matter is, if you can't afford to fix it or replace it if you run into a wall or you need to rely on it, probably shouldn't be out there racing it.
That's probably good advice.
And then with track insurance, if you can't fix stuff yourself, and I don't know why my insurance agent would cover it, but I'm still banking on he won't. Probably should get track insurance if you were relying on it, or it's
because
pretty spendy vehicle.
Yeah, track insurance is what, $300?
Yeah, and when I quoted for Corvette or Camaro for $25-30 for both of them, it's what I kind of usually shoot for. It's $250 to $300 some dollars for every time I've looked at it, and it's for how many times I go to the track, it would take a hell of a wreck to make it worthwhile for me.
Yeah,
fixing it myself.
No, I mean that's kind of the stance I took it on the Z and the 240. It was if I wreck those, I'm not into them. I don't have money that I owe on them, so I don't really Like if I had to write those cars off, it would suck, but it wouldn't completely ruin my life. But yeah, I mean, if you owe money on the car, I can see why track insurance would be super, super important. Or like if you're taking a $250,000 Porsche Cup car to a track day, you definitely put money, insurance on that.
Yeah.
But how much would a $250,000 Cup car cost to insure? I mean,
how much would it cost to fix?
Less than $250,000.
You don't know that.
I think I'd get it covered.
I would cover that for sure.
Yeah,
I'd be
sure.
I don't know if I could even drive it. I'd be too effing scared.
Well, that's where JB was with his.
And I don't blame him at all. I mean, if it's something that it's that nice, that expensive. I mean,
yeah, we talked to him about it when we were at Coda because that's where he had taken it for a track day, and he's like, "Dude, it's a beast of a car, and like it's way more car than any mortal human has the right to drive on track, and like it's incredibly, stunningly fast, but it's too much and it's scary." And he's like, I just can't get out of my head how much money this car is worth, and it's just not fun to drive.
No, that price tag is always in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't blame him. I'd be the exact same way. I was the same way in Dalton's car. I mean, it's nowhere near 250,000, and it's whatever the number actually is. But
I found a $250,000 Corvette. What are you talking about?
Shit. But no,
Dalton could sell it for that.
He would get that money out of it too.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to buy a C6Z06 for $250,000, I might even have some wiggle room in there.
Just a little.
Don't get too crazy.
Jesus.
All right, I think that we've done a full show.
Yeah.
Dalton has provided us with lots of content when my weekend was fairly uneventful, which is good. He's
always good for a laugh or two at least, right?
So I appreciate that.
I should probably take better care of my shit so you guys don't have anything to laugh at.
Nah, it's good content. That's what we always say with our stuff.
I did fix the razor blade problem. I cut out that drip tray.
That's
I
good.
Not place anything
like
there
completely cut it out. Like took a sawzall to it and just
hacked it out.
No regard for structural rigidity whatsoever. I'm not putting a razor blade here again.
There's no structural rigidity there. It's fucking fiberglass and balsa wood. I did drink a couple beers and sawzalled the fuck out of it, though. That's not a like. That's what I did. I need to go fine tune it because I just was like, make sure I don't put anything here. Let's just get that out of the way. And I just like went around the whole thing, and there's just it's crooked as fuck.
I would have just like taken a 2.5-inch hole saw and just put a hole in the middle of the spot there at least, instead of cutting it all out.
Yeah, I just figured if I'm going to cut that part out, I might as well cut the rest of the drip tray out and save a pound. I'm not losing weight. The car has to.
Fucking Dalton. Fucking Dalton. Dalton and his thunder thighs.
Yep. At least he's got those tight little Miss Me jeans on.
And that's a wrap.
That's a show. No news this week. We'll see if there's another fucking hurricane, because if there is, we won't have a show next week. But we do have
hopefully things calm down for me.
We do have a show scheduled to do next week, so hopefully we can have another episode. But as the season's wrapping up, I think we'll be a little easier to get stuff going, hopefully. And then we'll catch everybody next week.
Don't lie to him like that.
I say it every week. We'll catch you guys next show.
There we go.